everyone! Today we're going to be doing some string art on paper plates. To begin, you'll need some string material, so either yarn, embroidery floss works great, or if you have some cord, a pencil, needle, scissors, and a paper plate. Let's take a look at these first two examples we have. This one features a heart design. It uses variegated thread or variegated floss, which is like this. It's kind of our color changing one, where as you go, it changes colors on you gradually. So you could get away with using just one color and you get a nice variation here. To do this design, what you would do is you flip your plate over and you draw whatever shape you want to stitch. So I have seen people do hearts, stars, rainbows. I've also seen people do more creative things like a Minecraft creeper and so on. To begin, I drew a penciled out heart, and then with my needle, I poked holes about maybe 1/4 inch apart all the way around the heart, and I also poked a hole in the center of the heart. And so we're just using a single strand here for this project, and I'll show you that in a minute. But basically I stitched from one hole to the center, came back through the second hole, went to the center, and just did this zigzag motion all the way around. To finish off my design, I poked holes and created this running stitch, just to add a little bit more decoration. For the second design, this one's more of a string art design where you're using geometry and straight lines to create a curved design. For this one, I just used the circle shape of the bowl, and then with my pencil, I marked out using my finger as a measuring guide to try to space all of these out evenly. I poked all of the holes. I ended up with about 30 holes. When I started, I came up through my first hole and went up to the 10th hole. So I skipped all of these ones. So I came up, down hole number 10, I came up hole number 2, down hole number 11, 3 to 12, and so on and so forth. And by doing that, you create this curved optical illusion. So the lines are all straight, but the design looks curved. And then for this one, for the border, I did offset holes. So I did kind of a zigzag shape of holes. I took one color at a time, stitching this diagonal line, and then I came back with the second color, stitching in the opposite diagonal line, and that's how I got that look. Any knots or ties are always going to appear on the back, so we don't see them on the front. Let's take a look at how we can get started on our own design here. So for this one, I'm going to do the holes around the outside of the circle. So I'm using my finger, mark, after all the dots are on, you can take your needle, make sure that the plate is off of the table and your fingers are out of the way, poke all of the holes. After your holes are poked, you can begin to use your first material. So I've measured out my yarn. I have my needle. Thread one end through the eye of the needle. Pull and leave just a little tail. So we're gonna have a long tail and a short tail. That's gonna give us a single strand to work with. I'm gonna take my other end and just tape it on the back. If you haven't written your name already, it's a good idea to write your name. Go down your hole, whoopsie, so you can come up to the front and decide what kind of design you're gonna do. I'm gonna go across the board here. Okay, and then I'm gonna come back down to my first hole. I'm gonna move my tape so it's not covering it up. Now I'm gonna go to this hole across the board. Back to my first hole. I'm getting low on yarn, but I think I'll have enough to complete this stitch. And then I can tape this or tie a knot onto the back. This is what I have so far. Decide how often you want to switch colors. And repeat the steps again. Threading the needle, leaving a short tail, and either tying or taping the first one. You can kind of see how when they start sharing the same hole, then you get a different shape to it, and you could do this design in a lot of different places. Like you could pick a hole across here and have all the lines come back to one of these. You could just continue it around this way, switching colors each time. There's a lot of fun and creativity to be had with this string art. So I hope this tutorial was helpful to you so you could start to do your own string art design. Just remember, mark your holes with a pencil first. Try to work around a central shape, so either a design you've drawn out or the shape of the plate. Try to keep the holes the same distance apart, either using a ruler or using like a fingertip, and poke the holes all ahead of time.